Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday to you on this October 10th, 2025. Got all your stories for your rush hour ride to work. And we got that Blake Lively contract. So much tea to share with you guys this episode. That's right. The judge has unsealed the contract that Blake Lively had with the movie It Ends With Us. Of course, they're in a multi-$100 million lawsuit right now. She's claiming that there was some nefarious activities that went down. Baldoni's side claims he was just doing his job. So much to get into. Did they give Blake Lively a private jet? How many nannies were on set? What font size is the credits, her opening credits in the movie? So much to talk about. But seriously, what is revealed from this contract that might be very bad news for Blake? We'll have all of that. And then on the back half of the episode, we'll talk about other contractual issues, like the Department of Justice indicting an attorney general, another big weaponization of law, really. We'll get into that. The shutdown, if you're flying this weekend domestically or anywhere in the United States, God bless you and good luck. It's nasty out there as the government is in its second week of the shutdown. So many stories to get to. All this and more starts right now on The Rush. Now, here's a public service announcement for all of my friends out there that are flying drone photography at a concert. Don't hit the main singer's face. Oh boy, there it is. That's the moment a drone got stuck in the hair, hit the bangs. You know how it is. Listen, I've flown many a drone into many a building. I've hit palm trees, poles. I hit a window at a resort I was staying at. Luckily, it didn't break, but I haven't hit a pop star. Not with the drone, at least. No, I've never met a pop star that I know of. I'm kind of I'm a podcast star, in my own world at least. Anyhow, it's a Friday. Be careful out there. It's dangerous on the roads on Fridays. People are acting a fool, and we're going to have some dangerous content to talk about here with the Blake Lively stuff. Here's your update with justice for Clayton, the Clayton Eckerd versus Laura Owens case. We've taken TikTok by storm. We've got several million views. New people are finding this case. And folks wondering why we continue to talk about it. Well, yes, you guys know I'm a potential star witness for the state of Arizona, as Laura Owens has been indicted, charged with 7 felonies. And we were there to help facilitate that because she lied about a lot of things. And she's continuing to lie about a lot of things. Her mom says that this whole podcast thing was done by men's rights activists. I'm not an MRA. I'm not a men's rights. My audience is all women. I'm a women's rights activist. I'm a people's rights activist. And we fight for those that need help, right? But in this case, it's wild. So Laura Owens' mom, I guess, gave an interview. She said the ordeal has bankrupted the family, who moved to Scottsdale from San Francisco several years ago after Ron Owens, who suffered from health issues, including Parkinson's, retired. Ron Owens, who turns 80 next week, does have a GoFundMe page that has raised more than $130,000. However, it says the family's financial woes are down to his health problems that have included 4 bouts with cancer and makes no mention of his daughter's legal battles. Now, why is this interesting? Well, he gets $20,000 a month retirement. I'm not here to judge what rich people do with their money, but it seems like that's a lot of money to get to also go bankrupt. I mean, gambling, I don't know, drugs, I have no idea what's going on. Obviously, healthcare ain't cheap, but anyhow, so they're going to continue to come after us. We're going to continue to just expose the truth. That's it. Bare bones. We're getting smeared left and right by Laura Owens' former attorney. He's coming after my pals Lauren and so many others, and we're just not going to have it. We're going to tell them all, knock it off. By continuing to make TikTok videos, we're going to share the truth. So I'm on part 8. And it's probably going to be 200 parts. I'm literally going to make them until they take my TikTok away. But either way, go follow me over there, DNealz, DNEALZ, if you want to see more about that case. But here we go. Let's get into it. We've got the contract here. This is without a crystal ball. This is what she had to say following this contract. It's 35 pages long, and it was unsealed by the judge. I don't think Blake Lively wanted people to see this. It's hard to feel for somebody who gets $1,000 a week stipend for food spending. How would you even spend $1,000 a week? Were you just drinking fresh pressed juice like it's at the Bubbler? That's water fountain for my folks that aren't from Rhode Island. Either way, I'm going to get into several very interesting aspects of this contract that I saw. But here's what Katie from Without a Crystal Ball had to say. Breaking news. Blake Lively's, I don't know why I sounded like Borat. Breaking news! Blake Lively's actor agreement has been unsealed, and it changes everything. Under the terms of her contract, Lively waived her right to sue and agreed to arbitrate and any disputes related to the project. The agreement also includes a strict COVID compliance requirement and a binding non-disparagement clause, prohibiting her from speaking negatively about the production company or its associates. The document further reveals that Lively's executive producer title was purely vanity. She had no contractual authority to edit, cut, or control the release of the film in any capacity. Now, if you're Blake Lively, you might argue, while this contract doesn't give her any right to edit the film, you could still weaponize or share whatever equity or clout you have to sort of lobby for that in post-production, but the contract does not help Blake out here. Now, what's interesting about this idea where she waives her right to sue, if there's an issue, it's just got to go to arbitration. It's probably very standard that contracts have this. I'm guessing. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know if you knew that. I'm just a pop star podcaster, whatever. But in here, you see, it's like, I don't know, that sounds like normal stuff that you wouldn't want to just go ahead and sue someone, like, let's work it out, or, disputes happen. I mean, it's a 35-page contract. So rather than share all of it, I'm going to share my favorite 5 pages, if that's okay with you. If you don't mind, here are my favorite 5 pages. Just different box office bonuses. So in this contract, she gets paid $1.75 million. How are you doing on your job, folks? You doing okay? She's doing just fine. And on top of that $1.75 million will come the stipends and all the other fun things that come with being a movie star, right? But it's tough. I have to memorize lines. I get it. Shut up, read the lines, stand on the tape, and win your award. But here's what's interesting. She was entitled to an extra $250,000 if she won an Oscar. Right? This isn't the Oscar, this is the box office bonus. So she's entitled, and it shows the WWBO is the worldwide box office. If the worldwide box office reached 4 times the direct cost of the picture, lenders shall be entitled to a BOB of $250,000. And it shares all of the other bonuses. Now, this movie did really well at the worldwide box office. I don't know the math of the budget versus what it made, but I think the box office was 4 times the budget. But again, whether that includes marketing and things like that, I'm not sure. But I think this is standard. If you're a movie star and you want a film to do well, one way to do that is to say, look, if the film does well, I do well. Standard stuff. But again, it's going to be hard for people to feel bad for her making that kind of money. Now, but in defense of Blake, if you're going to be making $2 million or $10 million, harassment is harassment if it exists on set. Only problem being, was she able to prove it? So here are the awards bonuses. She did not win any, as far as I know. If she was to win an Academy Award for Best Actress, if she's nominated and wins, she gets $200,000. If she's just nominated, $100,000. So, some pretty. I mean, she could be making an extra $1 million with all these different bonuses attached to it. But here's where it gets fun. This is the fun stuff, folks. You and I were taking the bus to school. We're driving Uber Pool, right? We're sitting middle seat on Southwest, section D or whatever, we're an economy. We are. Blake is not. Travel and expenses. For the services to be rendered in New Jersey, it shows ground transportation. She gets to choose who the driver is. I get it. Dressing facilities. Subject to the limitations of any location at which the picture is being filmed, company shall provide artists with exclusive use of a single pop-out star trailer. And again, these are normal things. These are normal things that you negotiate how much, how much leverage you have to get, a bigger trailer than everyone else. It's all ego, but it's normal stuff in a film. Training, meals. While artist is providing services in and around Jersey, company agrees to provide artists a training and meal allowance of $1,000 per week, subject to proration based on 7-day work week during artist's principal photography. So $1,000 a week. What's that? $1,500 a day just for food. I mean, I would have a hard time spending. I could spend $1,500, but I would have to be ordering food like an asshole. I'd be like, who wants appetizers? I mean, you're not going to Applebee's for that price, right? You're drinking nothing but wheatgrass smoothies from the most expensive location. You're getting toppings on top of toppings, all of the add-ons. Guacamole at Chipotle. You're doing it all, folks. Again, these are the rich folks, not you and I. If they need service, if they end up shooting in Vegas, and again, I don't know why that was thrown in there, but it says travel. Company shall provide round-trip air transportation on one private jet. Artist Blake Lively shall have the right to approve such jet for the following: artist 4 children, artist assistant, artist 2 nannies, and artist security personnel. That's a dozen. That's a lot of folks right there. That's a pretty good private jet you have to get. Ground transportation, and ground transportation is normal stuff. And most times they'll fly you first class if it's not private. But pretty crazy that she's. And I don't know if they gave her the jet or not. But I got a couple more things to share with this contract. But we got to pay the bills ourselves. No private jet over here, folks. This is Daddy's gig. Right? I got to pay the bills. Let's take a break for commercials. When we come back, I got more Blake Lively contract. Today's episode of the Rush Hour podcast is sponsored by Upside. It is a free app that gets you cash back for purchases you're already making at gas stations, restaurants, convenience marts, grocery stores. It's unbelievable. How it works is you just go to the app. It's free. You type in where you live, and it shows you literally all of the thousands of different options, from saving 65 cents per gallon to, look at this, Five Guys, burger and fries, 38% cash back. You just buy the food, the gas with your credit card, then you upload the receipt through the app, and it's money, cold hard cash, straight back to your bank account. No confusing rewards, points, or credits. Actual money that you will transfer into your pocket. $1 million in cash back is being earned by users every week. Upside has given back $1 billion to its users. To find out how much you could earn, download the free Upside app and use promo code RUSHHOUR to get an extra 25 cents back on every gallon on your first tank of gas. That's an extra 25 cents back for every gallon on your first tank of gas using promo code RUSHHOUR. Now let's get back to the show. This is the funniest part of a contract to me. And again, a lot of this is pretty standard, but the egos when you're the lead actress. Do I have top billing? When you sign on to a film, am I number 1, 2, 3? They list you based on who's the either more important, character. So Blake Lively, she's the biggest name. She's getting paid the most. Artist credit. Upon the condition that artist appears recognizable in the role, blah, 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 on the screen, on a single card, which means the title card, when it says it ends with us. On a single card in the main titles where the individual credits for the principal cast, whether located at the beginning or end of the picture, in first position among the single billed cast credits, before the title of all positive prints of the picture in a size 100% of the regular title and in a size, style, type, manner, and duration no less favorable than any other cast member in the picture. What that means is Blake Lively, big. Yeah, her name's got to be big. It's got to be the biggest. Nothing's bigger than Blake. And hey, it's kind of normal. This is what they do. And if you're a new actor in a movie, your agent will negotiate it saying introducing, right? Introducing Abigail Breslin, whatever the case is, right? And they're not introducing her. She's been around the block, just, IMDb wise. But, it's I get it. You don't want to be, have your, that's why when you watch a movie, and a lot of people don't think about this, but when you watch the opening credits of a movie, it'll be starring, Jake Gyllenhaal, and then it'll be with special guest Meryl Streep or whatever. That's all negotiated. That's all in the agents how and it's all ego. But that's the world of Hollywood, baby. And so continues to go down the line there. But what was interesting is people are pulling out aspects of this contract, saying, Blake said they didn't use nannies. Now she has 2 nannies. And listen, with all respect to Blake, if you're working on a movie set where you might be working 12 hours a day, and then you got to memorize your lines, be in hair and makeup, I'm not blaming anybody for having nannies. Not on a movie set, not blaming anybody whatsoever. Some other aspects are interesting. They're talking, a lot of people online are talking about the jet. So when she offered Justin a ride on her private jet, it was actually one he'd pay for. How nice of her. Look, these are the business expenses of making a movie. But it is interesting that it was a, relatively I don't want to call it a low budget film. It wasn't, like a low budget as far as SAG's concerned. There's low budget, ultra low budget. There's, different levels depending on how much money goes into a film. But it certainly wasn't a Michael Bay action movie. Maybe that's an old reference, but this wasn't The Rock starring in something. It's relatively small, and it did really well. It was one of the most successful movies of the year as far as the ratio of box office to budget. But yeah, interesting stuff there. Very interesting, and I'm sure on the afternoon rush, we'll have more to pick apart there. As far as legally speaking, what's in this contract that is damning for Blake Lively? I'm no expert on that, but I'd love to know your opinions, what you guys think. I don't know, Katie from Without a Crystal Ball here seems to really think this is going to change everything. She had no right to sue. Again, if you accuse someone of harassment, does that void whatever, things are in the contract? I don't know. I truly don't know. But again, I don't think this helps Blake at all. All right, let's move it on from here. And now let's get back to the Bad Bunny outrage. So much going on with music. A lot of folks outraged that Bad Bunny is going to be singing the halftime show, possibly not in English. Oh, adios mios. Here is what Stephen A. Smith has to say.
It's coming out now. It's Super Bowl Sunday. Since when you care about Super Bowl Sunday? Why? Because he sings in Spanish? We got a whole bunch of people in here. Hell, hey, I know a lot of people in Miami. I got a home down there in the area. English is second language. And I don't mind. Don't bother me.
Me either.
I love my Hispanic brothers and sisters.
Me too.
Love them to death. I'm mad I don't speak better Spanish.
Claro.
You sitting there walking around acting like it's a damn shame. No. They're great for this country. If all of us could come together and understand the importance of compromise, it's great for this country.
Wow. I mean, powerful stuff. Listen, I couldn't agree more. Now, I grew up in a very standard American suburban, white town, right? And then when I graduated, I moved to a Mexican neighborhood in Boston. Then I lived in a Dominican neighborhood in New York. Then I lived in Koreatown in Los Angeles, which actually was a Hispanic neighborhood, depending on what side you were on. My point is I've enjoyed the culture of diversity so much in our country. It's what makes us great, that you can live in a city and go to different areas that have different cultures, all intertwined and all respected. And that's what the halftime show represents. That's what the Olympics opening ceremony is. It's about culture. It's about seeing things that aren't, what you would normally see every day and experiencing something a little bit different. I told this story before, but I went to Dodger Stadium and there was some El Salvadorian band playing, and there was a whole bunch of people literally crying and dancing and supporting this musician that was so meaningful to them. And I had no idea who the musician was. And I ended up watching the audience more than I watched the musician because I had so much respect for them feeling recognized and appreciated and seen in a world that doesn't always do that. So yeah, maybe Super Bowl Sunday, you're not going to get Lee Greenwood like you want. But chill the fuck out. You'll get him on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. So just sit there, carbo load on the nachos you're going to eat, and enjoy the fucking show or don't. But these culture war issues have been around for so long now. It's a war on Christmas. They're coming for you. They're doing that. No, it's all fabricated. Chill the fuck out. Let's move it on. Oh, here we go. Pope Leo, Pope the 14th here, he's talking in Texas to a group of U.S. bishops, telling them they need to speak out against these issues going on. And for those that say, we don't want religion to get into politics, bitch, religion is politics. Loving your neighbor, loving strangers, helping the sick, the poor. This is it. This is what you signed up for. If you go to church, you signed up for believing and respecting and honoring the teachings that make the whole place better, not just what's convenient for you in this moment.
I was struck at the beginning, it talks about the feeling of powerlessness, which I think is so much case of, and I think it's so important that we as church give a message of hope in the midst of these horrible struggles, what's going on in so many cities in the United States right now. At least the church cannot be silent.
The church cannot be silent. I mean, this is big stuff. First of all, it's insane. The Pope is American, right? That's just insane that this happened. And everyone voted on it, and they said, we need a guy in there. We need a guy in there to lead, to share love, compassion, grace. Look, hey, I'm not saying I'm even like too deep into what the Pope's message is, but these are the principles that we need to get out of this mess we're in. And I'm telling you right now, your insurance premiums going up, avocado prices being high, all those other things, no amount of deporting folks is gonna solve that issue. Yeah, sure. You can't follow the rules as far as like if you commit a violent crime, you got to go. You got to go through the process and you got to go. But the way they're doing it, I'm telling you right now, sure, there'll be people that argue this. I'm telling you right now, it is a losing issue the way it is being done. Zip tying kids, ripping them from their parents, people that have been here for a decade, green cards, DACA. No, the way it's being done is wrong. And we need more people, especially in religion, to stand up for humanity in a time like this. So I haven't covered the Gaza ceasefire yet because, I think it's a little complicated. Now, there was a ceasefire where Israel agreed to stop bombing Palestine, and Gaza, the terrorist organization, Hamas, see, it's complicated. Hamas, the terrorist organization in Gaza, agreed to give back all of the hostages, both dead and alive. And my first response was, I'll believe it when I see it. Well, now, and again, and Trump wanted to get this done because today's the deadline for the Nobel Peace Prize. He's like obsessed with getting he just wants a participation trophy, really. And look, if he got the ceasefire deal done, good on him. But tanks are now firing towards Gaza. And this is actually happening. It's been reported by several reputable news stations. So is this a violation of the ceasefire? Will the ceasefire go down? I really hope the ceasefire does happen. You guys, no one wants more senseless lives lost than me. Nobody. But I don't hold my breath, and we'll wait and see. The United States is deploying 200 troops to Israel to support and monitor the ceasefire in Gaza. And, the comments on what might go down. It's like, do we really need American troops over there? You know what we need over there is food going to the people that are starving. I don't think we need American troops there, but God forbid one of those gets stuck in a crossfire. Folks, we are in a new war. So we'll have to see. But yeah, again, I don't know. Do they, it seems like Israel had it under control, didn't it? But again, we'll have to see. What the hell are they going to do with the rebuilding? Trump says they're going to, who knows? It's going to be a obvious giant money grab for the contractors that get in there. It's going to make any other former insider, deals that have been done in past military situations look like charity compared to the money grab that's going to come. And who's going to be in control? There's so many issues. It's above my pay grade, so I hesitate to give you any more of an update. Now, here is a crazy story. This is wild. This was breaking news last night.
There's breaking news on News Nation. Letitia James, the New York State Attorney General, has just been indicted on a federal fraud charge, indicted in the Eastern District of Virginia. One count of mortgage fraud after an investigation is what we're hearing at this hour. This case, as has been reported, had centered primarily around how you, from what we understand at least, list your residences. Was it a primary residence in Norfolk, Virginia?
Now, again, this is an issue that apparently a lot of other people in the government have had this issue. It's above my pay grade, but will they even take this thing to court? It might just be like the Comey lawsuit where it'll be a little easier to prove that this is a vindictive lawsuit by Trump in the Department of Justice, as they've kind of said they were going to go after them. But again, I think justice will play out, but this is pretty wild that they're like going after someone for like a mortgage issue. What? They said Obama committed treason. And then no follow-up on that. They just threw these random, this is insane. Have a listen.
More than a continuation of the president's desperate weaponization of our justice system. He is forcing federal law enforcement agencies to do his bidding. All because I did my job as the New York State Attorney General. These charges are baseless, and the president's own public statements make clear that his only goal is political retribution at any cost. The president's actions are a grave violation of our constitutional order and have drawn sharp criticism from members of both parties.
But the big issue here is in the past, I think the Democrats and Republicans would come together and disavow this. But right now, you're not really seeing many Republicans say, this is a bad idea. What you're doing is a bad idea. But she'll get her fair day in court if it even goes to trial. Here's Trump talking about the shutdown, saying that the White House will cut very popular Democratic programs. So just so you guys know, no amount of the shutdown, just because the government is shut down doesn't mean that the president has to get rid of programs or lay people off. He's doing it to inflict pain so that he can win. It's how he's pushing his leverage. Now, this isn't some real estate deal. These are humans. These are American lives. And he's talking about cutting programs that only benefit one political party, which, by the way, I'm sure popular Democratic programs benefit a lot of Republicans too. We know that the Democrats right now that shut the government down did so to protect subsidies for health care that benefit Republican states more than Democrats.
Shutdown has been, pretty damaging. I mean, it's not yet because it's early, but it gets a little bit worse as it goes along. And we'll be making cuts that will be permanent. And we're only going to cut Democrat programs. I hate to tell you. I guess that makes sense. But we're only cutting Democrat programs. But we're going to start that, and we have Russell, we can talk to you about it if he wants to, but we'll be cutting some very popular Democrat programs.
I'd like to see the list of what the hell he's talking about. This is a bad guy. This is bad news to say, because the government shut down, we're going to cut your legs off. And this is the problem, right? He's not a president for Americans. He's a president for his base. And that's just not what we need. When Biden did the CHIPS Act, when he did the Infrastructure Act, it benefited Republican states more than Democrat. It benefited the Rust Belt and a lot of blue collar jobs and things like that. Biden didn't pass that because he wanted to only benefit Democrats and those that voted for him. This is the work of a petty, small bitch. That's what this is. By the way, how about this story? The Chicago pastor is now suing the Trump administration after he got shot in the head by ICE. We shared this story with you the other day. He was shot in the head with pepper bullets, which can be lethal. They're less lethal than a real bullet, but look at this. There it was, shot in the head, falls to the ground, and then he's now suing the Trump administration. And again, who pays that, right? Does that come out of Trump's crypto coin? Like, who's gonna? It's just wild. Well, here's our final story for the morning, and we're going a little hard today because this you can't cover all the craziness. But I assure you, I know a lot of people have left comments saying, Dave, I haven't been watching the news. Your channel's kind of helping me sanitize it all and process it. Trust me when I say this. Listen closely. Trust me when I say this. The majority of Americans do not support this. They don't. Some are misguided when they say, I want the illegals out, or they're killing people, or they're misguided, they're divided by fear. Most people have a good heart. This is not, even those that might have voted for Trump, this is not what they wanted. Now is not the time to dunk on people. Now is the time to show people and educate people what's actually going on. It is scary out there. I don't think people are buying this bullshit. Here we have Kristi Noem. She is the border Barbie, or whatever you want to call her. I mean, real ratchet human. Here she is making announcements at airports that the reason for the delays are due to Democrats shutting the government down. Can you believe they are doing this?
It is TSA's top priority to make sure that you have the most pleasant and efficient airport experience as possible while we keep you safe. However, Democrats in Congress refuse to fund the federal government, and because of this, many of our operations are impacted, and most of our TSA employees are...
So, yeah, she goes on. And by the way, you could fly a plane through those hoop earrings. I've seen strippers with more modest jewelry. No offense. But this is wild. And this is wild propaganda. They're saying this violates the Hatch Act. I'm not too familiar with it. But it's, look, people aren't that dumb. I know what you're saying. No, Dave, they are. No. I think the majority of people see this. Now, a presidency is always won or lost by 1, 2, 3%, right? Usually within 1%. And it's those independent voters that maybe they liked Bernie, but then when Hillary won, they decided to go to Trump instead. There's people that can be swayed. You might not get the MAGA batch. They might be steadfast. No, deport them all. That might be what, they might not budge. But I'm telling you, there is a large movement happening in our country where we say there is a better way. Listen, I live in a red state. I'm telling you, I go up on stage doing stand-up. I'm saying the same thing over and over. We want to support small farmers. We want to support single moms. We don't have to be divided one versus the other. We can ask to tax the billionaires. We can ask to pay cheaper health care, fix our potholes, and stop funding wars abroad. We can all unite. About 80-90% of us all want the same thing. We're not getting it. And we need to get educated on why we're not getting it and what we can do in future elections and how we can pressure people to make that happen. But no amount of TSA Barbie over here is going to tell us why the government shut down. You're smart. We know why. All right. Well, we made it to the end of the morning here. I hope you have a fantastic day. Put a little champagne in the mimosas. Live a little bit. A little Bailey's in the Irish coffee. I won't judge you. Do whatever you want. Live your life. And we'll be here this afternoon to get you back home. We'll see you then. I'm Dave. This is The Rush.